Well, between, the dual tech, that he sped up, and didn't really get enough saturation as far as drones goes, and all of those spore colonies, and evolution chambers you see, his economy is definitely hurting. Uh, those spore colonies are exactly where all his resources went. He's a significant deal behind and did not need to lose those two lurkers. Once again, he's put himself in a bad position.
He's actually putting down a queen's nest and gonna try to go straight to hive. Like you said, with this bad of an economy, I'm looking at his expansions now. He's got hardly any drones anywhere. He's not going to be able to support a hive tech until he gets more drones. Or at least another base with a third gas, but I don't think he's going to be able to support hive tech. There's just no way, and he's already going for it. I'm not quite sure. He's upgrading Hydralisk range, or I'm sorry, Hydralisk attack and upgrading armor. He's already upgraded the range and speed movement for Hydras. Is he just going to try to just mass Hydras? Because that doesn't work. I don't know. There's no way going mass Hydras against Eminem will ever work. I've never seen it work. Maybe there's been cases, but can you guys, what do you think?
Well, on a map like this, this is actually a very hard map for Zerg. With all these, little valleys and small entrances to bases, Zerglings actually, to be honest, have been proven to be like pretty useless here. These little corners and so forth, they end up running through in lines and just getting melted. So having some sort of range does help. But I would have, just gone mute attack and tried to do a little bit more damage that way. And with, like you're saying, he needs a third gas before attacking the hive. There's not too much he's going to be able to do with this.
He is taking a fourth base at the bottom left natural gas expansion. Wraith has spotted that though, and it'll be very easy for that Terran ball to just move down there and snipe that. There's no defenses at all, but it looks like Schism's going to try to go for the kill here. And another thing that you can't really rely on Hydras as your main source of offense and defense is just because siege tanks just utterly dominate Hydralisk. I mean, Hydras have 80 HP, siege tanks do 70 a hit, so 2 siege tank shots, and then there goes your Hydralisk army pretty much. You got to just be able to flank very well with your Hydras, or just somehow, I don't know, have a ton of units to be able to just overwhelm a Terran opponent. But you can see Schism playing it smart. He's just going to contain and then just slowly push his way in. And boy, Mo, I'm going to have to agree with you, Machine. I think Mo should have gone for the Mutalisk. The more versatile, you can harass from multiple locations with Mutalisk because they can fly over all the terrain. Whereas with the Hydralisk Lurker army, yes, Lurkers are strong, but as you can see here, Mo can't get the Schism. Schism is in great position. There's no way he's going to be able to get to those tanks without going through those Marines and getting diced up. If he goes for drop, he risks losing his army to those few Wraiths that are still flying around. So, and Schism just taking the map. This is rapidly going downhill for Mo. I don't want to be really a negative Nancy. Some people have been calling me a Team LighT fanatic, but it really does not look good for Mo here. Unless he goes for, like, mass cracklings or something. Because, hey, you got Hive Tech. Yeah. Why not? He's got the minerals. I mean, look at him. He's got 1,400 minerals and no gas. Might as well, because none of that larva is being used. He's got 5 hatcheries, and no larva is being used at all anywhere. Of course, the food cap doesn't help, capping yourself at 101. But what are you going to do with all those minerals, Mo?
Well, like you're saying, it's very important for Zerg to flank Terran, in all of its attacks, and this map really does prevent that with all the little valleys and so forth. He just needed to do some sort of other tech, or at least grab a faster third gas in order to stop this. At this point in the game, he's about to lose his third gas that, didn't even get up and running. There's not too much he can really do from here on.
And what were you going to say, Ariels?
I was just going to point out, you said for the first 2 games, since we didn't get to watch them, that Mo went Mutalisk and was completely superior to Schism, making him look bad. And I just noticed that Mo, for some reason, for game 3, 4, and 5, which happens to be 3 and 4 happen to be the one that he lost, and this game he's losing right now again, his lurker tech has failed him horribly. I don't know why he would continue on the trend. I don't know why he wouldn't continue with the Mutalisks, but you can see Schism plays way better against lurker starts. Once his macro isn't disrupted, he plays much better against the Zerg than against Mutalisks. So that's something Mo should probably consider before he gets going. So lurker's not working out too well for him.
Well, Mo has broken that containment at those eggs, and Schism has to fall back a little bit. Unfortunately, Schism did not use the time. He has this huge marine force at the bottom left. He should have been pushing those guys up into that mineral-only expansion while falling back from the eggs and force Mo to try to micromanage 2 places at once. Maybe just a little bit too much micro for Schism, and just gonna wait until he solidifies his position in the middle before pressing his advantage at the left-hand side. But because you can see both players massing up, more science vessels coming up to help scout to help provide detection. Unfortunately, science vessel committing kamikaze and getting sniped by the Hydralisk. He got this defiler though, the irradiate at least, and good dark swarms by Mo at least. We did see that in Game 3, he was able to use those Dark Swarms very effectively. You can see that here as well. Unfortunately, he's not using his Hydralisk effectively under the Dark Swarm, but it's hard to control a lot of units like that and try to micro the Defiler, get the Storms off, so it does take a lot. A lot of people think that Zerg's so easy, 1A, 2A, 3A, but when you have to control so much Zerg units and try to cast Dark Swarm, and it can be very, very difficult. We have +2 armor, +1 weapon on those Hydralisks compared to the 1-1 for the Marines. But now we can see Schism pushing up into the mineral only. Dark Swarm has been used there, but unfortunately there's no lurkers there to capitalize on that Dark Swarm. And so Mo is forced to use Zerglings. You can see they're just getting eaten alive by those, the Zerglings are getting eaten alive by the Marines. And now lurkers are coming in, and they're going to burrow right next to those Marines. Unfortunately, Schism isn't going to notice, and oh jeez. Poor little Marines. And we have a simultaneous battle going on in the middle, with lurkers picking off a lot of Schism's forces as well. So Mo capitalizing on Schism's, Schism trying to force Mo to micromanage, actually succumbs to his own lack of micromanage, losing his army at the left and in the middle simultaneously. But he's not too worried about it. He can hold right there at that gap and force those lurkers to try to squeeze through there while simultaneously attacking at the top right and trying to get to Mo from that direction. But Schism has a lot of the map. He's got 4 bases compared to Mo's 3, and he can easily take a 5th base as well in the bottom left. He's got access to that area. And Mo with the Ultralisk Cavern up, still upgrading armor for his units. Has +1 melee for his Zerglings as well, and actually might be able to do a lot of damage to these lurkers at Schism's gas expansion here, but no. Schism catches it in time, is actually able to snipe through the lurkers, but not enough forces there. So Mo could be on the comeback here. I don't know. I mean, Schism has kind of been losing his... He's still macroing decently, but his micro-control just kind of faltered there the last couple of minutes. Do you think, Machine, that Mo might be able to press his advantage here?
Well, I mean, even if the Terran loses that base, you know, the Terran is still so far ahead. You know, he's preventing the Zerg from grabbing his, you know, 3rd gas. There still isn't going to be able to be much for the Zerg to do, especially with the Zerg once again trying to over-tech with that Ultralisk Cavern. I can't see the Zerg coming back, especially after losing all the drones as mineral only.
That is true. Mo does have still a very low gas count, very high mineral count, but Schism is also suffering from that same sort of deficiency of gas. He's only producing just a lot of Marines, and we can see that Dark Storm just being very effective against Schism. Not that many siege tanks, and not that many science vessels due to the lack of gas. So this, the lack of science vessels really hurting Schism, because obviously the more science vessels you have, it's easier for Terran to just irradiate everything, ask questions later. But because of the small number of science vessels, Schism hasn't been able to prevent Mo from pushing into his base. You can see Mo just going in again and again with the Dark Swarm. Unfortunately, Mo just does not have the resources to keep up with this push And we can actually see a drop happening at Mo's main base. Marine's trying to go in there and take out some tech.